Oh, this kind of leisure and endowment is supremely difficult to obtain. When we obtain this body, which is easily lost, do not waste it meaninglessly, but rather use it to attain the ultimate liberation, joyous result. We only need to recite this in English, and then we contemplate for a moment. If we have time, we make it for several moments to get stable with precious human life. Okay? The nature of all phenomena is impermanence. Death is a certainty to all who are born. Death can descend any time like a drop of morning dew on a blade of grass. Quick, it is time to make effort for the essence of Dharma. Contemplate impermanence. Next. The fruit of one's positive karma is happiness. Suffering is the fruit of negative karma. The inexorable karmic causation is the mode of abiding of all dharmas. Henceforth, practice the Dharma by distinguishing between what should be practiced and what should be given up. Contemplate karma, cause, and result. Now we're on page 15. In the three lower realms, and even in the three higher ones, there is not an instant of absolute happiness. I will avoid the root cause of my samsaric existence and practice the excellent path of peace to enlightenment. Contemplate the suffering of samsara. Okay. Now the protection fence, the Vajra fence. Om, I, U, Ri, Li, O, Ga, Na, Za, Na, Da, Na, Da, Na, Ba, Ma, Ya, Wa, Sa, Ka, Ha, Kriya, So, Ha. Om, I, U, Ri, Li, O, Ga, Na, Za, Na, Da, Na, ba ma yawala wa sa ka sa ha kriya so ha oma I ri ga na za na da na ba ma yawala wa sa ka sa ha kriya so ha. Om Yadama Hetu Pavava Hetu Takan Tadagato Heawa Tatata Takansa Yonarada Ewamwadi Mashumani Soha Om Yadharma Hetu Pavava, Hetu Dagan Tadagato, Heawa Tatata, Takasa, Yanarada, Ewamwadi, Mahashimani, Soha. Om Yadharma Hetu Pavava, Hetu Dagan Tadagato, Heawa Tatata, Takasa, Yanarada, Ewamwadi, Mahashimani, Soha. All phenomena arise from causes. Those causes have been taught by the Tathagata. Their cessation too has been proclaimed by the great ascetic, the Shamaniye, Soha. All phenomena arise from causes. Those causes have been taught by the Tathagata. The cessation too has been proclaimed by the great ascetic, the Shamaniye, Soha. All phenomena arise from causes. Those causes have been taught by the Tathagata. The cessation too has been proclaimed by the great ascetic, the Shamaniye, Soha. Om Vajrasattva Samaya, I hope to protect my vow to purify myself. May you remain firm with me. Grant me the complete satisfaction. Grow with me. Be loving towards me. Grant me the attainments to master the powers beyond body and nature. Show me all the deeds of body, speech, and mind. Make my mind, heart good, virtuous, and auspicious. Revel in the bliss of the four joys, O Blessed One, who embodies the essence within me. Do not abandon me. Grant me the realization of the indestructible nature. Make me one with you. Thus I signify my unity with non-duality. Ah. Om Vajrasattva Samaya. I hope to protect my vow to purify myself. May you remain firm with me. Grant me the complete satisfaction. Grow with me. Be loving towards me. Grant me the attainments to master the powers beyond body and nature. Show me all the deeds of body, speech, and mind. Make my mind, heart good, virtuous, and auspicious. Revel in the bliss of the four joys, O Blessed One, who embodies the essence within me. Do not abandon me. Grant me the realization of the indestructible nature. Make me one with you. Thus I signify my unity with non-duality. Ah. Om Vajrasattva Samaya. I hope to protect my vow to purify myself. May you remain firm with me. Grant me the complete satisfaction. Grow with me. Be loving towards me. Grant me the attainments to master the powers beyond body and nature. Show me all the deeds of body, speech, and mind. Make my mind, heart good, virtuous, and auspicious. Revel in the bliss of the four joys, O Blessed One, who embodies the essence within me. Do not abandon me. Grant me the realization of the indestructible nature. Make me one with you. Thus I signify my unity with non-duality. Ah. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Justadredo Me Bawa Suto Kayo Me Bawa Supo Kayo Me Bawa Anuraktu Me Bawa Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sutsa Me Sitsantriya Kuru Hong Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sara Tathagata Bajra Mame Munsa Bajri Bhava Mahasamaya Sattvaha Om Bajra Sattva Samaya Manupalaya Bajra Sattva Tenopa Justadredo Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anuraktu Me Bhava Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sutsa Me Sitsantriya Kuru Hong Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sara Tathagata Bajra Mame Munsa Bajri Bhava Mahasamaya Sattvaha Om Bajra Sattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Justadredo Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anuraktu Me Bhava Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sitsa Me Sitsantriya Kuru Hong Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sara Tathagata Bajra Mame Munsa Bajri Bhava Mahasamaya Sattvaha. Arising from a defiled mind, be reborn in the great wisdom. Arising from a defiled mind, be reborn in the great wisdom. Arising from a defiled mind, be reborn in the great wisdom. Om Sambar Sambar Bhimanasar Mahazambo Hong. 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 Om Sambar Sambar Bimanasar Ma Zambu Hung. Om Sambar Sambar Bimanasar Ma Zambu Hung. Om Sambar Sambar Bimanasar Ma Zambu Hung. Arising from defiled lives, remember and purify the flower of wisdom. Arising from defiled lives, remember and purify the flower of wisdom. Arising from defiled lives, remember and purify the flower of wisdom. Om Smar Smar Bimanaskar Ma Zambu Hung Pe. 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 Arising great holy wisdom, purify this life. Om Sambar Sambar Bimanazar Maha Zambu Hung. Om Sambar Sambar 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 Maha Zambu Hung. The enlightened body, speech, and mind are the precious Dharma protectors, whose mirror-like wisdom is the door to purification. The enlightened body, speech, and mind are the precious Dharma protectors, whose mirror-like wisdom is the door to purification. The enlightened body, speech, and mind are the precious Dharma protectors, whose mirror-like wisdom is the door to purification. Om Ruchi Ramana Pravataya Hong Pe. 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 The body, speech, and mind of pure love is ultimate wisdom. Ultimate wisdom is pure love. The body, speech, and mind of pure love is ultimate wisdom. Ultimate wisdom is pure love. The body, speech, and mind of pure wisdom. The body, speech, and mind of pure love is ultimate wisdom. The ultimate wisdom is pure love. Om Shri Pamanardishvari Hong. Om Re 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 Pamanardishvari Hong. Om Ah Hong 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 Practice of taking refuge, the first section of the Drikung Kagyu Ngondro. The benefits of taking refuge. If the merit of taking refuge in the triple gem could manifest in form, the whole universe could not contain it. Even though attempting to describe the infinite benefits of practicing refuge is like attempting to empty the ocean with a teaspoon. There are 8 benefits as explained in the Jewel Ornament of Liberation. One becomes a Buddhist. It becomes the basis of all the precepts and vows. It exhausts all previous non-virtuous deeds. It protects one from obstacles created by humans and non-human. One accomplishes all one wishes. One gathers a great amount of merit. One will not fall into the lower realms. One attains Buddhahood swiftly. Refuge practice is the essence of all other practices. Therefore, one always should emphasize this practice. It has inconceivable beneficial effects. Through this practice, one can achieve the fearless state. With one pointed mind, take refuge in the three jewels. Meditate that the surroundings are as separable from a Buddha field. In the space in front of me is a lion throne, in which are a lotus, sun, and moon disk seat, in the center of which sits the kind root lama in the form of Vajradhara with the 7 characteristics. Blue in color, 2 arms, holding a vajra and bell, crossed at the heart and gracefully sitting in the vajra position. Adorned by the silken robes and various precious jewel ornaments and surrounded by all the lineage lamas. In front of the lion throne is the Yidam Chakrasambhara, the male and female aspects in union, whose manifestation is simultaneously appearance and emptiness. At the right side of the throne is the assembly of the Buddhas of the 3 times, possessing all the auspicious signs of a Buddha, together with the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate kalpa. Behind the throne is the Prajnaparamita, proclaiming the relative and ultimate meaning of the 3 yanas. To the left of the throne is the assembly of the compassionate bodhisattvas, surrounded by the sangha of the 3 yanas. Around the base of the throne are the Dharmapalas, an ocean of guardians gathered like clouds. Back to page 25, Tibet. Mei Kang Woman Xing Dan Yer Mei Pei Rang Dun Sen Chen Pei Ma Ni De Ten Usu Jun Sen Sa Wei La Ma Ni Yen Lag Dun Den Dur Jai Cha Ki So No Sang Jagni Dur Drill Dur Cardinal Rab Shabni Dur Jai Kil Chong King Chul Chul Dar Dang Rin Chen Na So Gen Gize Gu Pei Shen Yen Nam Dang Tab Shik Chog Don Du Yidam Kurlo De We Chog Yam Yum Nak Sok Song Chog Nyong Shok Shok Yeshu Du Som Sangye Shen Per Den Kal Sang Sangye Tong Dang Len Shik Shok Yab Tu She Rab Paro Chin Pe Yom Dragne Tek Som Choki Naro Jog Yon Du Se Den Chang Shup Sen Pe Sok Tam Song Ge Don Nam Gi Yong Su Kor Tri Yi Sam Zu Dam Pe Cho Kyong Wei Song Ma Gyat So Tring Trig Ta Ber Gyor. Buddhas, Dharma, Sangha, Yidams, and Dharma protectors, to these supreme objects of refuge for protection from the hordes of suffering of samsara, we all migrators go for refuge until enlightenment is attained. Buddhas, Dharma, Sangha, Yidams, and Dharma protectors, to these supreme objects of refuge for protection from the hordes of sufferings of samsara, we all migrators go for refuge until enlightenment is attained. Sangye cho sok yidam cho kyong che, kyab sok nam la dak sok cho wa kun, si pe jik sok nam ga le kyob chir, shang shu ma to badu kyab su chi. I rejoice when all sentient beings are happy and free from the samsaric suffering and swiftly attain ultimate Buddhahood. For this purpose, from now on until I achieve enlightenment, I will follow the path to the ultimate goal. Drikung de den tuk nal drawa dang, nor du la me to par na gawe, de shir den ne sang shu ma to bar, ne pe dong chok lam la chok par cha. Drikung de den dugnel drawadan, nor du la me to par da gawe. De shir deng ne chang shu ma to par, ne pe dong chok lam la chok par jan. We take refuge in the kind root lama and lineage lamas. We take refuge in the deities of the mandalas of the yidams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Drin san sawa dangur pa je pe pal dan lama dam pa nam la kab su chi o. Ye dam kil gorgi la sok nam la kab su chi o. Sangye chom den de nam la kab su chi o. Dam pe cho nam la kab su chi o. Pa wo ka cho cho kong song mei shong yes she gi cheng dang dem pa nam la kab su chi o. All right, so this is what we recite, this long refuge prayer, page 20, page 30 and 31 is what we recite while we're doing prostrations. So I just want to remind you of a couple things. I'm going to do some prostrations. I'm going to move my microphone so you can hear me and you can see me in the other window that we have set up. So you might want to use your beads to count your recitations. You might do that. You might use stones, little stones that you can easily move from one part of your body to another to count your prostrations. You could use matchsticks or any other device that you might come up with to do something like that to keep track of your prostrations. So once you attain a rhythm, and you can time it so that you know if you can do 25 prostrations, let's say in 5 minutes, then you can use 5 minutes as your time guide to say, okay, I just did 5 minutes, I did 25. Or you could do 10 minutes, you'd do 50. In 15 minutes, you would do 75. And in 20 minutes, you could do 100. Or whatever your rhythm allows you to do. So it's good to keep track of it. This is why we spend the first 10,000 accumulation to get together your rhythm and so on like this. Another thing that is important is to keep your body comfortable and cool. If you have a lot of layers on, it builds up heat, and heat fatigues us. So whatever you wish to do, if you want to do your prostrations just wearing a workout suit or maybe some short pants and a t-shirt or something like that, is going to maximize your ability to allow your body to breathe, your skin to breathe, to dissipate the heat. The more heat you keep in, the more sweat you're going to produce, and the more you're going to fatigue, or the quicker you're going to fatigue. So don't feel bad about shedding some clothing so that you can do this. And then the last thing is to use whatever implements you need to slide your hands. If you slide your hands, to use some wood, or to use some cloth if you're using a wood floor or something like that. So you'll see I'm doing mine on a carpet, and you'll see that I use wood blocks. So if you can't do the prostrations and you want to just recite the mantra, recite the prayer, that is good, that is fine. And if you turn your mic on, then maybe it'll help us all out, those of us who are trying to. So here are my wood blocks. You see these? They're like slots, and I use these pebbles that I have, these stones. So I'm going to put these over here. These are 25 stones. So I'm going to attempt to do 25 prostrations tonight after having dinner. I tried to eat early, and being late in the day for an old codger like me. Okay. Tristan Zawa Dan Gurpar, JP Pao Dan Lama, Dampa Namla Kapsu Chio, Yudam Kilgore Gila Sokam La Kapsu Chio, Sange Jom Dende Namla Kapsu Chio, then Pecho Namla Kapsu Chio, Pepe Gedun Namla Kapsu Chio, Pawoka Jojo Kome Shung Yashegi, Cheng Deng Dempa Namla Kapsu Chio. We take refuge in the kind root, Lama, and lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deities and the mandalas of the Yidams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom. We take refuge in the kind root Lama and lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deities of the mandalas of the Yidams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sangha. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom. We take refuge in the kind root and lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deities and the mandalas of the Yidams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Trinsen Sawa Dan Gurpar. JP Pao Dan Lama, Dampa Namla Kapsu Chio. Yidam Kilgore Gila So Namla Kapsu Chio. Sange Chom Dende Namla Kapsu Chio. Pecho Namla Kapsu Chio. Pepe Gedu Namla Kapsu Chio. Pawoka Jojo Kome, Shung Yashegi, Cheng Deng Dampa Namla Kapsu Chio. Trinsen Sawa Dan Gurpar. JP Pao Dan Lama, Dampa Namla Kapsu Chio. Yudam Kilgore Gila So Namla Kapsu Chio. Sange Chom Dende Namla Kapsu Chio. Then Pecho Namla Kapsu Chio. Pepe Gedu Namla Kapsu Chio. Pawoka Jojo Kome, Shung Yashegi, Cheng Deng Dampa Namla Kapsu Chio. Trinsen Sawa Dan Gurpar. JP Pao Dan Lama, Dampa Namla Kapsu Chio. Yudam Kilgore Gila So Namla Kapsu Chio. Sange Chom Dende Namla Kapsu Chio. Then Pecho Namla Kapsu Chio. Pepe Gedu Namla Kapsu Chio. Pawoka Jojo Kame, Shung Yashegi, Cheng Deng Dampa Namla Kapsu Chio. Trinsen Sawa Dan Gurpar. JP Pao Dan Lama, Dampa Namla Kapsu Chio. Yudam Kilgore Gila So Namla Kapsu Chio. Sange Chom Dende Namla Kapsu Chio. Then Pecho Namla Kapsu Chio. Pepe Gedu Namla Kapsu Chio. Pawoka Jojo Kame, Shung Yashegi, Cheng Deng Dampa Namla Kapsu Chio. Trinsen Sawa Dan Gurpar. JP Pao Dan Lama, Dampa Namla Kapsu Chio. Yudam Kilgore Gila So Namla Kapsu Chio. Sange Chom Dende Namla Kapsu Chio. Then Pecho Namla Kapsu Chio. Pepe Gedu Namla Kapsu Chio. Pawoka Jojo Kame, Shung Yashegi, Cheng Deng Dampa Namla Kapsu Chio. Trinsen Sawa Dan Gurpar. JP Pao Dan Lama, Dampa Namla Kapsu Chio. Yudam Kilgore Gila So Namla Kapsu Chio. Sange Chom Dende Namla Kapsu Chio. Then Pecho Namla Kapsu Chio. Pepe Gedu Namla Kapsu Chio. Pawoka Jojo Kame, Shung Yashegi, Cheng Deng Dampa Namla Kapsu Chio. Trinsen Sawa Dan Gurpar. JP Pao Dan Lama, Dampa Namla Kapsu Chio. yedam gyogor gila song namla kapsuchi. Sange jomden de namla kapsuchi. Pejo namla kapsuchi. Pepe gedu namla kapsuchi. Bawoga George Gome. Shungya Seki Jengden Dampa namla kapsuchi. Junsan Zawa Den Gurbar. Jepe Padan Lama Dampa namla kapsuchi. Yedam gyogor gila song namla kapsuchi. Sange jomden de namla kapsuchi. Pejo namla kapsuchi. Pepe gedu namla kapsuchi. Bawoga George Gome. Shungya Seki Jengden Dampa namla kapsuchi. Junsan Zawa Den Gurbar. Jepe Padan Lama Dampa namla kapsuchi. Yedam gyogor gila song namla kapsuchi. Sange jomden de namla kapsuchi. Pejo namla kapsuchi. Bawoga George Gome. Shungya Seki Jengden Dampa namla kapsuchi. Junsan Zawa Den Gurbar. Jepe Padan Lama Dampa namla kapsuchi. Yedam gyogor gila song namla kapsuchi. Sange jomden de namla kapsuchi. Pejo namla kapsuchi. Pepe gedu namla kapsuchi. Bawoga George Gome. Shungya Seki Jengden Dampa namla kapsuchi. Junsan Zawa Den Gurbar. Jepe Padan Lama Dampa namla kapsuchi. Yedam gyogor gila song namla kapsuchi. Sange jomden de namla kapsuchi. Pejo namla kapsuchi. Pepe gedu namla kapsuchi. Bawoga George Gome. Shungya Seki Jengden Dampa namla kapsuchi. Okay. So now at the bottom of page 31, it says, note, recite the refuge prayer as many times as possible. Meditate that the refuge visualization dissolves into oneself and oneself dissolves into emptiness. So to catch our breath, we sit here, back on our cushion, on our chair or wherever. And we visualize the lineage tree. And we visualize the lineage tree and dissolving into us. Okay. Now we go to page 32. And now we maintain the protection circle. At this time now we are protecting from the outside, protecting the center. We visualize the yoginis, the dakinis standing, facing outside the tree, shoulder to shoulder. Om, I, U, Ri, Li, O, Ang, Kaka, Gagana, Zaza, Zazana, Da, Na, Da, Na, Baba, Ma, Yawalawa, Sa, Ka, Saha, Kriya, Soha. Om, I, U, Ri, Li, O, Ang, Kaka, Gagana, Zaza, Zazana, Da, Na, Baba, Ma, Yawalawa, Sa, Saha, Krisa, Soha. Omo, a, I, u, ri, lili, o, ang, kaka, gagana, zaza, zazana, dadana, dadana, baba, babama, yawalawa, saha, kriya, soha. Om Yudama Hetu Pavawa Hetu Tekan Tadagato Hea Watata Tekan So Yunarada Evamwadi Mashimani Soha Om Yudama Hetu Pavawa Hetu Tekan Tadagato Hea Watata Tekan So Yunarada Evamwadi Mashimani Soha Om Yudama Hetu Pavawa Hetu Tekan Tadagato Hea Watata Tekan So Yunarada Evamwadi Mashimani Soha Om Bazuzawazamaya, Manubalaya, Bazuzawadenuva, Justadada Mebawa, Sudogaya Mebawa, Subogaya Mebawa, Narektu Mebawa, Sara Siddhi Mebaya, Sara Karma, Satsume, Satsantriakaruhum, Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sara Tadagata, Bajrabami Mansi, Bajrabama, Samaya, Savaha, Om Bazuzawazamaya, Manubalaya, Bazuzawadenuva, Justadada Mebawa, Sudogaya Mebawa, Subokaya Mebawa, Narektu Mebawa, Sora Siddhi Mebayatsa, Sara Karma, Satsume, Satsantriakaruhung, Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sara Tadagata, Bajrabame Mansi, Bajrabava Ma Samaya Satwaha. Om Bajrasatva Samaya Manupalaya Bajrasatva Denopa Justadrido Mebawa Sudogayo Mebawa Subogayo Mebawa Narektu Mebawa Sora Siddhi Mebayatsa Sara Karma Satsume Satsantriakaruhung Ha Ho Bhagawan Sara Tadagata Bajrabame Manji Bajrabava Maha Samaya Satwaha. Page 34, page 35. This is it. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the five families in the three times have destroyed defilement and lead to equipoise of the enlightened mind. This is it. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the five families in the three times have destroyed defilement and lead to equipoise of the enlightened mind. This is it. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the five families in three times who have destroyed all defilements lead to equipoise of the enlightened mind. Tayata pensa driva avo bodhanaya soha. 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 The enlightened body, speech, and mind of the peaceful and wrathful deities is the Buddha. Om Ru Daru Muki Muki Soha. 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 The body, speech, and mind of the Buddha is the cause for enlightenment of all sentient beings. Om Dai Dai Bendai Soha. 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 The bliss and strength in the heart center of the Buddha is equipoise. Om Hanubashabara Hridaya Soha. 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 Om Ah Hong 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 Om Ah Uma, 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 Now at the bottom of page 35 it says, visualize with faith that the root Lama is present in the sky in front, surrounded by assemblies of Yidam deities and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And then we turn the page and we do the dissolution. The objects of refuge dissolve into the main figure, who is Vajradhara, and he dissolves into your crown. Kagyu kornam sowodan deyang wudu sune rang la tempargyu. So now we do meditation. So we can set our time. I don't have my phone is over there. So we'll have a short meditation to visualize this dissolution. So all the deities, all the masters that are on the lineage tree, all dissolve into light, all dissolve into Vajradhara, and then Vajradhara dissolves into light and dissolves into our head and comes down into the center of our body, and we become the embodiment of the lineage tree. So we visualize, we meditate. Just relax. Keep your body in the 7-point posture of Vajranyana. Most important is to keep your back straight. Watch your breathing. If your mind wanders, bring it back to the visualization of the lineage tree, the dissolution. Or you can use the breathing, watching the breath, to stabilize your mind. we do our dedication prayers? Dorje Chang, Talopa, Naropa, Marpa, Milarepa, Dormalogampopa, Pagmadrupa, and Lord Drikung, please bestow upon us the most auspicious blessing of all the Kagyu Lamas. By this virtue may I achieve the all-knowing state, and may all who travel in the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara by defeating all enemies, confusion, the cause of suffering. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind. Where it is unborn, may it arise. Where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray that the Lama may have good health. I pray that the Lama may have long life. I pray that your Dharma activities spread far and wide. I pray that I may not be separated from you. As Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra realize the ultimate state, Buddhahood, I will follow in their path and share the merit for all sentient beings. By the blessing of the Buddha who attained the three kayas, by the blessing of the truth of the unchanging Dharma as such, by the blessing of the indivisible Sangha order, may the merit I share bear fruit. By the virtues collected in the three times, by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate word of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Drikung Ratna Shri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara. Now back to page 37, and we'll do the dedication prayers in the Tibet. So there's several different melodies here. There's several different prayers that are combined here in this dedication prayer. So be mindful of the different melodies. And we're going to repeat the bodhicitta melody, the bodhicitta prayer. We'll repeat that 3 times in Tibet. Dorje Chang Chan Tele Narodang Marpa Bela Joje Gampopa Pagmo Drupa Gyawa Drikung Kagyu Lama Nam Kita Shisho Sonam Diyi Tamshe Zikpani Tobne Ne Pedranam Pamshete Tega Nachi Balong Chupayi Si Pedro Lejo Wadro Washo Shang Shu Semjo Grimposhe Ma Ke Panam Ke Gurchi Ke pa nam pa me pa yang gon ne gon du pel wa sho shang ju sam cho grim po she ma ke pa nam ke go chi Ke pa nam pa me pa yang gon ne gon du pel wa sho shang shu sam cho grim po she ma ke pa nam ke go chi Ke pa nam pa me pa yang gon ne gon du pel wa sho Lama kusam sang wa so wa de jo tu kuse ring wa so wa de Tren le da shinge pa so wa de lama dang dra wa me pa jin ji lo Jampal Pawo Jitar Kempa Dan Kundu Zangpo Dayang De Shin Te De Da Kungi Jesu Da Glob Ching Ge Wadi Dag Tam She Rab Tu No Sangye Kusom Ne Pe Jin Lab Dang Choni Mi Gur Dem Pe Jin Lab Dang Ge Dun Mi Che Du Pe Jin Lab Gi Jitar Nong Shin Mon Lab Ju Pa Sho Dak Dang Korde Tam She Gi Du Som Du Sag Pa Dang Yo Pe Ge We Sa Wa Di Dag Den Sem Chen Tam She Nor Du La Na Me Pa Yang Dag Po Zog Pe Zhang Zhu Brin Po She To Pa Jor Chi She Ja Kon Je Kong Gen So Ki Je Tendrel Ne La Wang Ju Drikung Pa Rin San Pa Ki Ten Pa Si Te Va She Drup To Sam Gong Pe Zen Gyor Chi. Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind root, and lineage lamas, divine assembly of yidams and assemblies of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Yogins, Yoginis, and Dakinis dwelling in the 10 directions, please hear my prayer. May the virtues collected in the 3 times by myself and all sentient beings in samsara and nirvana and the innate word of virtue not result in the 8 worldly concerns, the 4 causes of samsara, or rebirth as a Shravaka or Pratyeka Buddha. May all mothers sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me and mine, obstructors who harm, misleading Maras and the hordes of demons, experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May attachment to fame, reputation, wealth, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, and through that may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinity of space. May I gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. May the torment of suffering not arise even at the time of my death. May I not die with negative thoughts. May I not die confused by wrong view. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of the mind as such, or in the pervading clarity of Dharmata. May I in any case gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the bardo. Om, Ah, Hum. Om, Ah, Hum. Om, Ah, Hum. May my body, speech, and mind become inseparable with the body, speech, and mind of all the enlightened ones. Thank you all very much. So you can see we did that in a little bit over an hour. And if we had done another 15 minutes of prostrations, we would have done that in an hour and 45 minutes or so. So you can do 100 prostrations in the time of of less than 2 hours. So any questions? Any comment? Did you? Everybody happy?
Everybody happy. I just have a comment. I don't know. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to go back to what Thomas was saying a few nights ago or last week, doing this prostrations and the practice. It's the education that he was talking about, and I just want to concur with that and just reflect on it. So it was great, doing the practice, thinking about that, and it was just an amazing feeling. And it's a little bit humbling when you start doing this and just thinking about um, the path and what lays ahead of you, um, and how much effort you have to put into this. Um, and once you kind of like let your mind, I don't know what the word would be, just let your mind go, relax, and just do it. Don't worry about anything else, just do the practice. And yeah, that's all that matters. That's all I want to say.
Amen. Thank you. That's very good. Yes, that's right. Just let it flow. It becomes very natural.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like the devotion that arises is very deep. I mean, it's and usually it takes me about 3.5 hours to do this whole practice. I've never done it about an hour. I mean, usually because it takes me a long time to really develop a lot of emotion. I mean, just the first section might take me an hour, hour and a half to do. Because instead of doing a mala round, I'll do 10 mala rounds. Instead of doing, just Om Hum, I'll do 3 rounds or 5 rounds of Om Mani Padme Hum as well, just to develop that extra that feeling, that because it takes me a little while to really to get everything going, all the emotions going, and then once you start the prostrations and you really start putting your head and your nose into the ground and you really feel humbled, and once that humbling feeling really overcomes you, I mean, then the devotion just takes over, and that's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. So that's great, Adrian. Mm-hmm.
Very good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely right. I'd like to bring your attention to one thing, and I've mentioned this before, but I'll do it again. On page 43 in the dedication prayer by Lord Jigden Sumgun, on page actually 44, when we're visualizing the second stanza on that page 44 and onward, it says, "May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta." So we talk about that a lot. "And through that, may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinity of space." So this is what we're opening ourselves up to, is to be in union with space, boundless, no boundaries. And then we say, "May I gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life." So Mahamudra is the state of mind of enlightenment. And may the torment of suffering not arise even at the time of my death. So emphatically, we don't want that to be. May the torment of suffering not arise at the time of my death. And we can be in control of that to a large degree by not putting ourselves in harm's way and so on like that, by controlling our death. I've talked about that, our death is we have a gift to be able to control our death. And then, may I not die with negative thoughts. That all my thoughts be positive thoughts, be happy thoughts, be quiet thoughts, be satisfied thoughts, and so on. Not negative thoughts, not thoughts of ignorance or delusion and the five poisons and all the emotions. That they all should be dispelled by the time we've gotten to this prayer. So may I not die with negative thoughts. May I not be confused by wrong view. May my view be perfect, that we are doing this for the benefit of all sentient beings, for the enlightenment of all sentient beings, and that we are creating the proper atmosphere of our Buddha nature, of our Buddha field. This is the proper view. Non-dualistic, not a dualistic view, but a perfect view that is clear. And may I not experience an untimely death. So may I protect myself. May I have control of myself and not put myself in harm's way, like I said. And then when you do go out and you're doing things, that you're doing things in a safe manner and you're being aware of what you do. So emphatically, you should be, really thinking about, may I not do these things. But then the next stanza says, may I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of the mind as such, and the pervading clarity of the Dharmata. So this is the mind of the Buddha. So may I die joyfully and happily. So we should have this affectation on our face. Allow ourselves to smile. Allow ourselves to be happy and share that with each other. It's a wonderful gift. This was taught to us by Kemo Trinley, who was worked with Kenshin Rinpoche, was his editor on many, many of his books, including The Jewel Ornament of Liberation. And she pointed this out to us. And it was magnificent to realize this and to say, may I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of the mind as such and the pervading clarity of Dharmata. It's a wonderful gift. That line is just magnificent. And so it gives us a whole point of view now to approach our death now without all this negativity, without all this confusion, but with joyfulness. We all got to die. We will all have to face that. We will all do that. But should we be able to do it joyfully and happily? So then, may I, in any case, gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the bardo. So what that means is, even if we don't prepare for it, we're still going to face it. So we may as well do what we can to prepare ourselves for it. So this is a wonderful opportunity to practice this when we do this prayer and to practice that mindfulness of what those last few stanzas really mean. Okay. Any questions about the prostrations? Any thoughts? Everybody good?
Lance,
Yeah.
in doing the prostrations, you do it sometimes in English and sometimes in Tibetan. Is there any pattern of that?
No. Just,
Okay.
I mix it up just to create a mindfulness in my mind, but also to create a mindfulness in your mind to ask the question.
Okay.
You should know what you're doing. You should know what you're doing. None of this is abracadabra.
Oh no.
You're just saying words that don't have any meaning or something. They all have meaning.
Yeah.
And so we've spelled these out so that you can understand the meaning of these, and you should know the meaning, what it means to us in our own language and so on. And then as we do the Tibetan and the Sanskrit, that takes us to another level. That takes us to a transcendent level. But we got to understand what it is to be a human being to be able to get to that level.
Okay. And since I'm going to have to be doing these sitting, I'm doing the three
Yes.
Places. Is there a certain pattern of that? Like, do you do one full thing of each place with each line, or is it doesn't really matter?
It doesn't matter. And I think if you do it mindfully and whatever matters to you, whatever is meaningful to you, I think is really good. So I think it's good to stop here and be mindful of the body. Stop here, be mindful of the speech. Stop here, be mindful of the heart. So I think that's important. So however you execute that is part of your practice.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. But it's great that you would do that.
Oh, it's nice to do that. Thank you. I think that's going to help me through the next few weeks.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because you're not going to be able to get around, and this
Yeah.
way you'll have a good practice to look forward to.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. And maybe
Uh,
in a way memorizing some of this.
I'm there's words of all of these prayers and these chants that come into my mind every once in a while, which I really enjoy. So maybe one day I'll put them all together.
Okay, good.
And Lance, I was going to say thank you for sending those recordings of the Sanskrit alphabet and the mantra of interdependence. Is there any way, if I'm asking too much, just let me know, that you can send a recording of the long refuge prayer in Tibetan?
By the Tibetans?
Either or, by the Tibetan or the way that you said.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. I'll send it
Yeah,
to everybody.
those
Did I send those other prayers to everybody? Did I send the interdependent origination? Did I send that to everybody? Right, because Adrian had asked me to send him those, and I had them done by Kenshin Rinpoche, and so I sent them to him. But I didn't know I don't remember if I put it in WhatsApp and if I put it in for the group or just him. But I'll
Yeah,
send
I
it to
should.
everybody.
All right, appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, I have a question about pronunciation. In the Sanskrit alphabet, there's the spelling of, I think, three letters repeats, and it sounds so very similar, but I know that they're actually pronounced slightly differently.
I'm not an expert on that at all, but which ones are you talking about?
Well, I don't have it in front of me. It's like tatakanana. It's the phrase that just looks like it's a carbon copy of the thing right before it.
Well, those are that's the Sanskrit alphabet.
Kakagagana.
Ta
And
ta
I think
ta 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 ta.
I think
So
I think
Oh,
maybe Kurt,
e, re, li, kaka, gaga, na, za, na, da, na, da, na, ba, ma, ya, wa, la, wa, sa, ha, kriya, so, ha. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about the Sanskrit alphabet, yes. I'm talking about the phrase in the middle of that,
Ta
this
ta da, da,
just
na,
repeat.
da, na. The first time we say it, your tongue is right behind your front teeth on the roof of your mouth. Ta ta da, da, na. Then the next time you say it, the second phrase, your tongue is looped back at the back of the roof of your mouth. Ta ta da da na. And certain words in Sanskrit are pronounced that way, are that's the way they're supposed to come out. Now, of course, I'm not schooled in that at all, so I don't know how that really works, but that's how you're supposed to do it.
I'm gonna have to call Raghu. Raghu can probably help me there since he's a Sanskrit guy.
Yeah, anybody, yeah, he would know. Ta ta da da na, ta ta da da na, pa pa ba ba ma, ya wa la wa, sa ha, kriya, so ha.
so
That's right.
so with the last one is it's not SHA reads sa, right? Sa.
Well, look, just before it is sa. See, it's got a SHA, sa, then it's ka, and the next one is sa ha. So it's
Sa ka sa
sa
ha.
ha kriya, so ha.
Okay.
Sa ha kriya, so ha.
So that KHYA is ka.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Getting there.
Yeah. Well, I know you had a little bit more background with some of the Sanskrit pronunciation, and Amanda too, for that matter. You know, Amanda pronounces it beautifully, so she probably has a much better take on that than I do.
Oh, thank you, Lance. I do not. I'm learning, so thank you so much.
Well, there's a little, you know, when you say the English alphabet, A, B, C, D, if you will, those are the names of the letters, and there's some correlation to the sounds they have. Is that true here, or when we go through the Sanskrit alphabet, are we using the names of the letters, or are they actually the sounds?
Well, I think they're the sounds. You know,
Okay.
it's the transliteration, so that means the way they sound. You know, e, re, et cetera, et cetera. You know, so yeah, so they should sound like the written syllable. And Bonnie and William, you have good pronunciation of Sanskrit as well, I think. I mean, you knew some prayers. I mean, and some of the prayers and practices that you've done before, the Sanskrit was really emphasized, wasn't it?
Yes, yes, it was.
Yeah.
And actually, I memorized the Sanskrit easier than I did the English, which was interesting.
Yeah, it can flow, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
Those Dharanis, those long Dharanis, you know, they can flow. It's a song, you know, it's what it is. It's a melody to it.
Yeah.
So the reason again that it's important, you know, to remind everybody is that was the language that was being used at the time when the Buddha was teaching. So as we learn this and we do this in that native language, if you will, we're really putting ourselves in that space and time, because that space and time is here now, you know, so it's just tuning into it, to that vibration, you know, and keeping it alive and getting the benefit of that. And it's very powerful, you know, to me, it's quite, you can really experience that.
Now, Lance, I remember when I first started this, you were also saying that it's very important to have certain attire, certain wear, certain clothes that you wear um, when you're doing the practice. You know, you can't just roll out in your pajamas and just start doing it in your pajamas, you know, because I always have clothes laid out. I have certain clothes laid out for practice, certain clothes laid out for listening to teachings, or certain clothes laid out for just for meditation, you know, because it's you know it's being mindful.
It's mindfulness.
Yes, and like I said, I mean, since I practiced a lot of Zen, that's a lot of discipline involved. You know, it's like, you know, you can't just do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want. You know, there's a certain order there that should be followed. So, you know, that creates a lot of mindfulness. And
That's right. And Kenshin Rinpoche, you know, wrote a little booklet, or translated a little booklet. It was an old booklet that was meant for the monastics, you know, who are wearing, you know, special clothes or unique clothes to be a monastic and so on. But the purpose of it is to make you mindful and to not of what practices you're doing, that you're separating your mundane life from the spiritual life. So to have, you know, to wear special clothes. So whatever you choose, you know, I try and wear white whenever, you know, I'm doing practice and so on, when I'm in the shrine room, and because that's the closest thing, you know, to being a monastic as a lay person, is the white. And you'll see that in India, you know, and the people that, you know, in India, they may be Hindu, but they also have a deep respect for the Buddhism. And when they come to the Buddhist temples and so on, they're all wearing white. So yes, so it's a mindfulness thing, and you're separating your mundane life from your spiritual life, and then you find that what happens is that spiritual life begins to come into more and more of your mundane life. Yeah, so it's a good point. So wearing shawls and so on, and dressing properly. You know, many times in the shrine rooms, I mean, you'll see it, especially during the summertime. The way people come into the shrine rooms and they're wearing cutoffs and they're wearing, shorts with cut off, raggy sleeves, and so I mean, the Tibetans don't wear sleeves, so that by itself is not the issue, but it should have a certain degree of deity pride associated with it. It should be clean. It should be, looking nice, and it should be respectful of the brothers and sisters and the lamas that are there. It shouldn't be suggestive in any way, and it shouldn't be revealing in any way. We've had, some people come in and they're just busting out of these summer clothes, and it's very distracting, to say the least, and it's very rude. In some places they would be ushered out. And we don't show our feet, our bare feet, or the soles of our feet. We don't show that to the Buddha, or to the front of the shrine room, or to the teachers, to the lamas. We don't stretch our legs out and our feet standing up like this. That's very rude. To them, the filthiest part of our body is the soles of our feet. So that's important. You'll see lots of people who won't, when they're sitting cross-legged on the cushion, they have a blanket, or they have something, a shawl or something that they're putting over their crossed legs, the men and women, so that they're not, accidentally, offending or showing, suggestive or something like that to the monastics or to other people for that matter.
Do they keep a list of rules of etiquette at the temple?
Yes.
Okay, because that could be helpful for people who come in who don't know those things.
Yeah, we do have a list like that. It's up on the bulletin board, and we try and have copies of it available on the entrance desk when people come into the main foyer.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. If anybody wants to see a copy of it, I can send it to you.
Yeah, that's one thing that a lot of people don't teach.
Yeah.
When you're going through some kind of
Introduction.
introduction class or something like that, you get taught it, but then after that, some people don't teach that, but it's an important part in the
And showing the respect.
and also in your feelings, in the way that you feel, and the way that the rapport that you have.
No, it's good. I'm glad you brought it up because, yes, it's something that I haven't thought about for a little while, although I practice it, but I hadn't thought about saying anything. The monks themselves, they won't say anything about it. It's the people who support the monks that would spread the word, so to speak. Same thing with offerings. The monks will never ask for money for the sangha, for the facility, for themselves. They'll never ask for anything like that. They might request. They might request, oh, I need you, I have a request, would you do this for me or something like that, and of course you want to do everything you can for them, but they'll never ask you for anything like money or anything like that. And then you should never hand them naked money. If you're handing them an offering, it always should be in a kata, the silk scarf, and it should be in an envelope or something like that when you hand them something. And particularly the higher the lama, the more important it is, that you're not, and sometimes, the attendant monks will have a cloth over their mouth, a mask. They don't want to breathe on them or anything like that, because they are so pure and we are so defiled. So we wouldn't want to contaminate them, as I think, the thought there. So I've seen over the years how those protocols have kind of diminished. The younger monks, like say even Kempo Samduk, who's young. I mean, he's 40, 45, 46 years old, something like that. But then the older monks who are in their 70s now, or the ones who are in their 80s, with them, they're, you don't show them your back. When you go up to them, you're bowing. You don't look them straight in the eye. And when you leave the shrine room, you leave going backwards. You don't turn around and show them your back. All kinds of things like that. That with the older tradition, that here in the West anyway, we see it being lost because of just relaxation. And this is one of the fears. This is one of the concerns that the older monks had about people coming into the West is getting contaminated with all these Western lazinesses and so on. Even to the point of giving up their robes and getting married and things like that. There's a lot of people have great how would you say, offense to that. Take a lot of offense to that. It's debatable, but things are changing, and it's inevitable. Things are changing. Imagine what it was when the Indians, when the people, the Mahasiddhas and everything went to Tibet from India, and then they integrated in with the local Tibets, the Tibetan people, and what came out of that was Tibetan Buddhism. So there was a morphing, the two things coming together, and now we're seeing the same thing now, where the monks are coming out of Tibet and are coming into the West and are beginning to morph, with the Western cultures and so on. So there's a change that is happening, and it's an interesting conversation to have, I think, because it's important. One of the things that I think, not to stretch the point here, but I think one of the things that we're missing is discipline in our lives, discipline for our spirituality. And I think that we need to be able to bring that into our lives and emphasize it for our children and for our children's children. Otherwise, it's going to be gone in another couple generations.
I think we need less busyness in our lives, and that I think applies to everyone.
There's a culture, there's a culture to all this, and to preserve that culture.
It's ironic we're talking about temple etiquettes and stuff, and me being in the Zen order for a long time, I was the one in charge of people coming into the temple, of what to expect and how to conduct yourself, what to do, what not to do. Oh boy.
Was it a good thing? How do you view it now? What's your view?
A lot of it's really laxed, and I'm from old school, and
For the better or for the worse?
well, I mean, all depends on, you know, how you're looking at it from, if you're looking at it from just strictly a discipline point of view, it's really lax, and it's gotten, you know, it's gotten sloppy. It's gotten, you know, not good. But the other flip side of it is that, you know, these teachings, there's so much great teachings coming out that, you know, and you know, in the old school, it was really hard to get good teachings, because a lot of times the monks wouldn't, you know, they wouldn't just give them, you know, it wasn't something that was just given really easily, or, you know, to anyone and everyone, you know, and you have to really prove yourself to get a lot of these teachings. But, you know, yeah, it was interesting. I mean, because, you know, a lot of people are very interested, you know, and they come in, you know, off the street, and, you know, and want to enter a temple, you know, and you got to, you know, hey, you shouldn't do this and you should do this. And then some people will accept it, and some people will get offended, you know, like, what is this? You know, what is the Sunday school? I'm like, no, it's just a certain level of respect, you know. It's like if you go into a church, you know, can you just go in there with flip-flops and, you know, shorts and, you know, and a cut-off t-shirt? No, I mean, you could, but what's the message you're sending, you know? So yeah, it's you know, it's changing, but I'm hoping for the better, you know.
Well, I think when we get back into the shrine room, I think that's a good conversation to have, and you know, because I like, you know, a little bit of discipline. I think that structure is important.
Oh, well, definitely it is, you know. I ask my kids, they would say I'm just a hard ass. But, you know, you know, so but yeah, I instilled it into them, you know, as a young, you know, very young, at 3, 4, 5 years old. So it's embedded in them. But yeah, initially it's like, don't do this, don't do that. You can do it like this, but don't do it like that.
I think it would be good to revisit the conversation with them, and do it in a conversational way, you know, and say, well, what do you think of those things that we did? And, you know, you don't have any grandkids yet, do you?
Oh no, I told my kids, oh no, not till I'm like 60 at least. It's like 10 more years ago. But yeah, it's I mean, it really, it's, you know, because, you know, it's especially being Korean, you know, there's a certain expectation, man, and it's sometimes it's hard to live up to that expectation, you know. And man, but but, you know, once it's embedded in you, it's there, it's not going anywhere, you know. And, you know, it's like I said, a lot of times I'll bite my tongue, and, you know, because it's better to have them in the temple, you know, whomever it may be, to want to learn, you know. I think that's more important than, you know, so much of the discipline aspect of it, you know. And then once they get in and they really start getting into it, then, you know, you can start teaching them, you know, some of the do's and don'ts, and, you know, them being respectful and all that, you know. But it's getting them inside the shrine, and then getting them interested in learning, you know, that's the important thing. Mhm.
Very good. Thank you.
Mhm.
Did everybody get the message that we're not going to have the Noble Film Night tomorrow night? So we'll have it the next week. And there wasn't, these two events got too close together, so we have to put that aside. Okay. All right. Well,
Chris, I
unless
looked at the
anybody has,
flyer.
Curtis?
I looked at the flyer today for the stupa dedication. Do you know anything more about what's going to be going on for about the 16th through the 20th, and then something on the 21st?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I didn't have anything to do with it. So
What?
I didn't have anything to, you know, plan that or write the flyer or anything. So I saw it for the first time myself a couple of days ago. So you're living with Kempo. Ask him.
Yeah, you ask a direct question, you don't always get an answer though.
You got to ask it 3 times quickly.
Well, I did ask one question today, Lance, and you might know this because I worked with you yesterday. I know that we're having teachings this weekend on POA and I want to say Shito. Shitra. And I printed out the Pesha for Kempo, but we don't have any printed text for any of us on the weekend.
I asked today, and there's nothing that's going to be. Kempo, actually, Amanda made something up for
Dream Yoga?
for Kempo's teaching Dream Yoga.
I printed it out for Kempo today.
So how he's going to present it, I'm not. Amanda may know, but she did a beautiful job putting this booklet together.
Thank you, Lance. And I'm sorry, I realized I don't think I fully answered your question earlier. I think my understanding is that Kempo's just going to share the first page for now, and then go back and double check. That's my understanding.
Okay.
Yeah, but always that could have changed. So here's,
Right.
Is that the first page of the Dream Yoga?
yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I printed the thing out and I missed my chance to take a look at it.
Well, Kempo he'll be giving it to us anyway. So, but it's best to ask him because I don't know if something's changed, but that's my understanding for now. Sorry, there's a lot going on here. So.
Amanda, you would know this. Is that little booklet that I put together for Kempo today? I didn't look, like I said, I didn't look at it. Should I try to get a look at it? Is it good?
Follow Kempo's directions, definitely. And yes, it is. Yes, you'll love it, Curtis. He's gonna be. He'll be giving us everything this weekend. You won't miss a thing.
Are we gonna get that file though, so we can look at it?
Ask Kempo. I don't know for sure. I don't think, my understanding is that he's going to go back and double check just to make sure that we get the correct.
Okay. Okay, that explains things.
Yeah. I mean, it's in our best interest for sure. So.
Okay, and he can always put it in the chat room real quick and people can get it. As a file. Okay, thanks for, my curiosity was killing me.
Okay, no problem. I'm not sure if I answered any questions definitively, but yeah.
Oh, very helpful.
We'll definitely get page 1 and then Kempo will teach us. He'll just be reading everything. So.
All right, Dharma brothers and sisters, thank you very much. Maybe we'll see you this weekend if you're going to join us with Kempo and with Garchen Rinpoche. If not, we'll see you on Monday with Buddhism 101 and rest of the program later in the week. So thank you.
Thank you.
Happy prostration.
Yes.